All right, y'all. I think we're back. I'm going to ask for a 5x5 for a mic check because we've been being haunted by the tech gremlins and kind of hard to believe. I think the last 5 interviews we've done on the Fearless podcast, it has been like tech
brutal
issues galore on both ends.
Brutal.
Like some of those people I've had on are literally like tech people that like do major tech. And it's just, I don't know if it's StreamYard. I don't know what it is, but I don't know if y'all can hear us or not. Everything says it's good on our end. It said it was good on our end last time.
Then we talk to ourselves for 5 minutes.
It is just, can somebody in the chat let us know if there is any audio or video or whatever? And if not, I'm just going to sit here and talk to myself. So I feel good about myself. All right. So,
good.
Okay, we're good
here now.
Thank you.
Organics.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
Okay. So, wanted to jump on here real quick. There was a post on the Twitter about that Wall Street Apes had posted, and I thought it was very profound. So I wanted to document it here. So I'm going to share a screen here. And he did a quick video. This is the transcription of the video. The first thing I want to point out, he's talking about the truth about electric cars and the power consumption to charge these cars. The first thing I want to point to are the check marks. So these are the fact checkers of the context people that tell you how to think in context and all this. And I found this very fascinating. The post fails to address the difference between kilowatts and kilowatt hours or kilowatts per hour. Kilowatt is a unit of power, whereas kilowatt hour is a unit of energy. To calculate how much energy is needed to charge an electric vehicle, you need to multiply the time needed times the power used. So other than the incredibly incorrect grammar, now let's go up into what was actually stated and defined and said, and see if this is truly the fact checks of the facts that were checked. The truth about electric cars: each individual charging station is using the equivalent power of 280 homes every hour. So now we're getting a quantity of kilowatts, and they're being stated in hours. So we do have kilowatt hours. So there is a distinction here. If all chargers at one station are being used, the power being used is equivalent is 1,080 homes every hour. I think doing a quick little video here to give people an idea of how much energy it takes to charge an electric vehicle. I'm at Electrify America. It is a 350 kilowatt station.
Supercharger.
I'm consuming roughly 137 kilowatts.
You want to put that in perspective of a solar system, like an off-grid solar system.
Yeah, so if we had an off-grid system here to be completely off-grid, to completely provide for our consumption, that would be a 40 kilowatt system.
Yeah.
And so
he's using 137 kilowatts.
Yeah, so 4 to 5 times that.
Yeah.
It'll fluctuate. Sometimes I can go up to the full 350. But to put this into perspective, an average home consumes 1.25 kilowatts per hour.
Yeah.
135 kilowatts per hour. It's like the equivalent of 106 homes on the grid. Just this one station. Now, if I was going to get the full 350 kilowatts, like these can supply, that would be equivalent to 280 homes. Now, think about all 6 chargers running at full capacity. That's like 1,080 homes on the grid. Just a little food for that. This is so important that we can conceptualize these things. It's the same reason that the Federal Reserve and our governments. They want to talk about trillions and all these things. They're working in these unfathomable numbers that we can't conceive or contrive. And, you know, they continue to print and liquefy for the crash. See, so when you're crashing the monetary system, you print an inordinate amount of fiat currency and then you flood the market with it. And then eventually it creates all these, inflates all these ephemeral bubbles. And then they burst in a cataclysmic type fashion in the same exact way that if you take a addled power grid that is antiquated and then you force this type of usage onto it, it's the same thing. It's being designed and done to the system. I mean, just crunch basic numbers. This is
just one station.
Yeah, it's hard to fathom. It's a huge amount of electricity. And now you understand why the electric companies can't even supply that much power to one spot. It's like, think of 1,600 homes and how much copper and wire that would take to supply that many houses. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Somebody else just pulled in and yeah, there goes another 280 homes on the grid as soon as he plugs in. So just a little food for thought. I do love my electric vehicle. They're awesome. They're quiet, but it's just something that people don't really think about. I'll show you my Dash. These are great cars. I really like them. So you forget about range and all that. I'm just talking about what it takes to fast charge one. It's a ridiculous amount of money. Okay, now I'm at like 100. So that sounds like 100 homes right there. 120 kilowatts because 1.21 kilowatts per hour is what an average house uses. So yeah, they've got to figure something out because to have every car in America on the grid, it's going to be, I don't even know what those numbers would be. Well, just food for thought. I thought I'd talk about it while I'm sitting here charging, waiting. It's another thing. Got to wait here 30 minutes. And then sometimes Electrify America, half these chargers are broken, or I think they're throttling them down because the grid can't even handle it.
Of course.
So I think that's what's happening. I don't know. But like, for instance, this one here wasn't working. Yeah, look, unavailable. You know, there you go. That's usually the case. So either you're waiting in line for somebody or half of these chargers don't even work. And I don't think I'm complaining. Maybe it sounds like I am, but it's an issue and hopefully they'll figure this out. It's a design flaw. I don't think they're going to figure it out.
No,
I think,
I mean, just imagine paying, like, you're going to have skilled electricians go in there to fix those things. And they're going to want a lot of money per hour to go work on those stations, you know?
Yeah. And the capacity.
It's a flawed system.
And then you have the way that these charging stations even charge and the enormous amount of money that they actually charge you. And it is, once you're actually are charged and then you're stuck paying for this, it is many times more than what you would actually pay if you were using a gasoline vehicle. So you can't even do a cost comparison, you know, of the real average cost of a gas vehicle versus an EV vehicle, because you don't even know what you're going to pay at the pump.
Yeah.
And you many times you don't even know until after you're done charged. It's so fascinating that people are allured by these things. They think they're cool and they think, well, I'll just charge them at home and I'll plug them at the house.
I think the number one thing is that you literally cannot work on them and fix them yourself. Yeah. Tesla owners ever talk about that, or EV owners? They never talk about when these things break. They act like they never break.
They do talk about like when they get in these minor fender benders and the cars are totaled, or it's $40,000 to $50,000 in
just
repairs
to get a dent pulled out.
$60,000 vehicle. Yeah,
yeah, it's nuts.
They are ineffective and inefficient by every metric.
Yeah, Rich Rebuilds on YouTube, he's been exposing a lot of the EV crap. So, and there's a lot of it, you know, and they want you, you know, if anything happens to your EV, all they want you to do, they don't want you to buy replacement parts for it. They just want you to throw it away and buy a new one, you know.
And this is what all these new bankers wars are about. Yeah. And this is why we're going to mess with Iran, and we got to go get the lithium, and we got to get the cobalt, right? That's why that's why we have to be muxing around in Africa and Sudan, you know, and, you know, Belt and Road and all that stuff. You know, we got to continue to extract the resources of the world, and make the children of the world mine this stuff for us with their bare hands, you know, and it's for what? It's for geopolitical talking points that don't even exist in reality.
Yeah.
Like none of this stuff is feasible, or it's certainly not viable. And, you know, it's just like there's an inordinate amount of gas powered tech that that we can exponentially expand the range of gas powered tech that would even at current projections.
Ford and Chevy, they have patents on stuff of parts in vehicles today that break down, you know, in a couple years. I forget if it was like alternators and different parts on your vehicles that wear out. They have like lifetime ones, and they have them patented and everything, but they just don't want to build those because, you know, they want people to get a new pickup truck every, you know, 5 to 10 years, you know, so they don't want them lasting forever. And they have the technology to do that.
Yeah. And plus all the kill switch tech that's in all these EVs, you know, EMPs.
There's been a lot of that going on too with Teslas. And if you say the wrong thing, then Elon, turn off your thing, you know, turn off like certain modes on your Tesla.
It's proof, you know,
the king of freedom of speech
says, you know, it's impossible to have 300 million EVs on the road, and they know that, and they'll state that. That's why everybody's not going to be allowed to drive.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to get to drive, and us normie plebs that pay all the taxes, you know.
If you like, you know how many solar panels and windmills that would take? You couldn't even comprehend
an infinite amount.
Literally.
Because they're all past diminishing returns.
I don't even know what it would be, but like that right now, just the few couple stations that are out there, which is probably a couple thousand now, but just the stations that are out there right now, they're 100% not ran on solar panels and wind farms. They're run by diesel generators and coal plants and nuclear reactors.
I mean, any electrician, you know, when you start talking about the type of draw that's required, it will never, no supercharging station will ever be powered by renewable energy. Nor will
how about new?
Yeah, exactly. There will, you know, plus there's no such thing as renewable energy.
No,
it's all
a
talking
scam.
points.
It's a big scam.
It's all new speak, and it's shenanigans. And so we just want to call the shenanigans, and you know, and it's part of creating the dialogue to have the discussion.
It's going to weaken the grid. Everybody's electricity bill is going to go through the moon.
Yeah, sure.
It's going because when every station, you know, per hour, it's like 1,600 homes or 1,000 homes, you know, and our electricity bill is going to go from a couple $100 to like close to $1,000.
More rolling brownouts. You know, elderly won't be able to heat their homes because, you know, we gotta charge the cars, and you'll be able to charge your car.
But you can't have a fireplace
on your license plate number on odd and even days, stuff like that. It's going to be all of that kind of like technocratic, bureaucratic manipulation that's unelected and, you know, completely not democratic.
Yeah.
It's just going to be autocratic, technocratic, gobbledygook nonsense. But
America, the throwaway society. Yeah,
planned obsolescence, you know, with your little but it's cool and it's quiet, and look at the big, you know, gaming display on the dashboard and all that stuff. it's such a joke. How about the practicality and the usability of it? And how about the power and the ability to generate work and all these different factors that actually mean something? That produce, rather than
it's just a gigantic government cover up too.
It's part of the collapsing the system. We're going to be talking about the Great Taking on the Fearless podcast this week. It should go up this week, so definitely subscribe.
Going into more depth with things.
And it's it's exactly how that's been designed to purposely be collapsed to replace it, and they want to replace the independence that we as American citizens have, as with a relatively robust power grid that we have. That's much more autonomous than most other countries. It has plenty of its faults, don't get me wrong.
Of course.
It has plenty of weak points, but it does provide a substantial amount of power, and it does create more autonomy among the citizenry than most countries, right? So that's why it has to be collapsed, because it's just a little too much freedom, and that's why you want to attack that, destroy it. That's why you want to attack,
and that's why you should move while you can too. When you can't,
because your EV, it won't be allowed to go
or whatever.
It's panopticon. It's total control. It's it's funny that you watch it and you see this being built out and packed out, and how many people just don't even see it, or it's just conspiracy realists, doing your thing again. But I just thought that was very compelling, some of that facts and data. And what was even more,
I didn't know any of that.
What was more interesting was the whole blue checkmark fact checker thing that was going to straighten this guy out, because he was misrepresenting it, even though he was actually talking about it in context. But there you go, man.
Crazy.
There you go. So hey, y'all, hope y'all are having an awesome day.
And
definitely. We will see y'all in the next video. Thanks for hanging out, y'all.
Love y'all.
All right.
See y'all later.
See you.